Hello. Good evening. Welcome to Tuesday Night Live. We haven't been on the air in a while. There might be a little echo in here, but we haven't been on the air in a while, and so we're back. And we'll be here every Tuesday night from now on. This is Tuesday Night Live, live in focus. So let's get started tonight. I'm so excited to be back online and to connect with you tonight to have a wonderful time for our time together. Now, I want to make a couple announcements. We, Making Dreams Real, are going to have a Kentucky Derby event on May the 7th from 3 to 7 p.m. In this event, we are giving away a $20,000 Harley. This Harley is beautiful. If you want to go on our website, which is makedreamsreal15.org, you can see the motorcycle there, and you can win this motorcycle by purchasing a ticket for $100. And I think $100 is very reasonable for a $20,000 motorcycle. And this money that we're raising for this event, and this event is for camera got off focus, is for building a development for supportive low income and homeless, those that are homeless. I prefer to call them from now on displaced individuals. So we are going to raise money to do that and start the process or start the building of a 144 single bedroom 700 square foot homes. These will be for people that need housing and need their lives changed. We will be there. We're going to have one rule, and that is that you're responsible for your own actions. And we're not going to turn you away if you are a felon, you have mental health issues, you have substance abuse issues, whatever issues you may have, we will accept you and love you, and we're going to have a family to do that. So I want you to participate in this event. At this event, we're going to have stick horse races for the kids. We're going to have bounce houses. We're going to have a silent auction. We're going to have food. We're going to just have a great big party and a good time for 3 hours. And then at the end, when the Kentucky Derby runs at approximately 6:30 p.m., we'll have a projector there that you can watch the race, and we'll have raffle tickets that you can buy and choose horses. And if you choose the horse and your ticket is drawn, then you will win some funds. So we want you to come out. Families are welcome. We want motorcycle people. It's going to be at the Harley dealership here in Sherman, Texas. And we're going to have a great event. We're going to have a Mad Rock there. We're going to have music. We're going to have fire trucks. We're going to have everything for everybody. So ride your motorcycle, drive your car, walk, hitchhike, whatever you got to do to get to this event at 3 o'clock on May the 7th. We'll be making more announcements about that. Okay, so let's get into the meat of the situation tonight. We're going to talk about the prodigal son. I don't know how many of you know the story about the prodigal son. There was this young man. He had a brother that was older than him, and his father was quite wealthy. They had a big, back then in the old days, this was really old days, they their wealth was measured by how many sheep or camels or cows or a multitude of things or a combination of those things. Their wealth was quite measured by that. Now, this young man, this prodigal son, we don't know his name. The story doesn't give us his name. But the prodigal son was, he was tired of being at home and having to take care of his father's cattle and help his father and that. But his father had everything and loved him very much. But he went to his father. How many know that when someone in our family dies, if they have any funds to give, then they make a will. And in this will, they give their possessions to their sons, their wives, their friends, whoever they deem necessary or deem that they want to give money to or possessions to, and they make a will. But you can't access those funds or material things or cars or boats or whatever it may be until the person is dead. But this prodigal son went to his dad and he said, I do not want to wait till you die. I want my inheritance now. That's quite cold-blooded to me, saying, I want my inheritance now. I wish you were dead so I could get it, but I want you to give it to me anyway. So his father said, okay, I will do that. So however much it was, he distributed it to his younger son, and his younger son packed up his bags, got on a camel, and headed out. He was all excited. He was going to live the wild life. He was going to live a life of luxury. He was going to live a life of freedom, do whatever he wanted to do. So he headed to a different country, some distance away from where his father lived, and he began to party. He had a lot of friends because he had a lot of money, went in the bars and bought rounds and all the things that wild men do. He probably took drugs and drank a lot and all that. But eventually, his money ran out and he was broke. And then he had no friends because when he ran out of money, they all left. And then to top that off, they had a recession in this country. I don't know how many of y'all really have lived through much of a recession, but in 2008, the housing market crashed, and it was a tough time during those times for several years till the economy got back on its feet. So not only did they have a recession, but they had a drought. Quit raining. Crops didn't grow. People were not able to work. Farm workers. Back then it was mostly an agricultural community. But they didn't have a lot of industry back then, so people were not able to work. People were hungry. This young man couldn't find a job. But he finally found a job with a farmer that had pigs. Now, I don't know where you've ever lived with pigs. I have not. But this is quite a good scene that you're seeing tonight. Most of the time, pigs live in filth and dirt, and they root around and make mud and get all filthy. They eat anything. They eat slop, anything else that you feed them. So that's what the young man did. What is ironic about this young man was also Jewish. Now, if you know anything about the Jewish culture, not everybody that is Jewish lives by this, but if you know anything about the Jewish culture, they did not eat pork. They did not eat pigs. They did not do that. That was against their rules. So here this young man was, hungry, starving. I don't know how much he was making, pay, but it's kind of somewhat like being on drugs. He was trapped in this situation. He was broke. He had no friends, and I don't know how he got food at all. But it said he was so hungry, he started to think about eating the same slop that the pigs eat. Corn husk, whatever slop there is available for him at that time. And he was so hungry, and then he had a moment of clarity, I call it. His brain worked for a moment. Now, if you've been on drugs or you're having mental health issues, your brain, if it's on drugs, may not have a very, maybe quite dim, and you cannot think properly. So you'll steal from your mother, your father, you'll steal from your friends, you'll steal from Walmart, you'll do anything you can to get drugs. So in a comparison situation, this young man was hungry, starving to death, and he was thinking about doing anything he could to get food to eat. And that's the way addiction does you. If you're an alcoholic, that's all you think about, is I got to stock up enough alcohol and liquor so that I can make it through the week or the day. I know a guy that every day he lives in an apartment. He's on Social Security, so he gets a check. And he goes every day to a store that is probably 3 blocks away from him. And he drinks so much he can hardly walk to get to the store. But he does it every morning. Started off with beer. Now he's on wine, as far as I know. And he can hardly walk. He's not had a moment of clarity in a while that I know about. But this young man had a moment of clarity. If you have mental health issues, sometimes you're so paranoid, you have so much anxiety, and you have so many things that your mind is not able to think clearly. But everybody, no matter what your situation, whether it's drugs or mental health issues or just homeless, whatever it may be, at some point you have a moment of clarity. And when that happens, you should take that time to change your life. Now, when this young man had a moment of clarity, he said, I'm not very sharp here because in my father's house, there's plenty to eat. And he said, I have messed up so horribly that I think I'm going to go home and I'm going to tell my dad, my father, Father, I've done you wrong. I should have not done what I did. But here's my deal. Here's the deal I want to make with you, Father, is I'm not worthy to be your son anymore. But if you'll just let me be a servant in your house, I will work for you for nothing, for food. We see people on the street all the time that have signs that says, I will work for food. So that's what this young man decided to do. Now, I do not know how far away he was from home, but I do know he was filthy and dirty, probably didn't even have any shoes, but he got up, crawled out of the pig pen, filthy as he was, stinking as he was, and started home. So what I'm asking you to do, whatever your situation, if you get a moment of clarity, start home. Might be a struggle to get home, but start home. Now back home, his father every day went out and looked down the road for his son to come home. And I don't know how long the son was gone, but I know the father every day was looking for his son to come home. And finally, this young man had struggled and made it and got to the point where he was going down the final path, the final 500 yards, we call it sometimes, to his father's house. He was filthy, he stunk, he was ratted, his clothes were ragged, he had no shoes, I don't think. And anyway, father saw him. And his father turned around and hollered back in the house and told his employees to get the best robe they had, get the family ring, get him some shoes. So I think he didn't have any shoes. Bring some shoes, okay? And start killing the best cow we have. And let's have a feast, because my son that was gone is home. And he ran to meet him and grabbed him and started loving on him, put on the best robe, put on nice clothes on him, and him had a bath yet. Put shoes on his feet, put the family ring on his finger, and started going to the house, holding his son, hugging him. No condemnation, none. He said, my son's home. We're going to rejoice. That's what the Father is waiting for you. The Father's waiting for you to come home. So if you hadn't started home yet, you've had a moment of clarity where you could think. Don't waste it, because it may not come back again. You may not have another moment of clarity. Start home. The Father is waiting for you to come home. He's got all the new robes ready, the new clothes. He's got your shoes laid out. He's got the cow ready to kill and have a feast. He's going to invite the whole town. So start home. Would you tonight? Just start home. Okay? God loves you. The Father's waiting on you. We love you. So that's the story tonight. Come home. Come home. And let's begin all over again. And the part that was bad in the middle, from the time you left to the time you got back, got to wipe all that away. The Father will take that away. It will be as if it never, ever happened. So it's time to go again tonight. And we'll see you next Tuesday night, 6 o'clock, on Tuesday Night Live, Life in Focus. God bless you.